Hi, I'm Kelly Bassetti Primo, and welcome to my podcast, Learning Curves, where I bring the small business community direct to you. In my podcast, Learning Curves, we learn about all the unique services that businesses have to offer, and we also learn about the different challenges that businesses go through. In times, businesses go through several different ups and downs, and we talk about the learning curves that we all go through and how we address those. I hope you enjoy my podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Learning Curves. I am so excited today because I have my guest, Christine Talaba, with me, and we are going to learn how to organize. Christine has an organization business, OCD.
Organize, create, decorate.
Yes, I love the name OCD. That's so awesome for organizing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're going to talk to her about her business that she has in Fort Myers, Florida, and learn all about how a professional organizer comes in and helps people organize their homes. I know that I am a complete train wreck when it comes to organization, so I would love to have someone like you come to my house and help me. That would be wonderful. So I think we're all going to get a lot out of this and learn about the business of organization.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Kelly.
Oh, you're so welcome. So Christine, can we start by, let's learn a little bit about you and how you got started in organizing business.
So this is my second career. I have a law degree, and I was doing that for about 20 years, and I wasn't satisfied, but I didn't really know what that meant for me. And I started cleaning out my own house and kind of getting rid of the stuff that I've held on to for years. And as I started doing that, I felt better about myself, and I felt better about my space, and my mental health really started to improve. And so when I started that, it was like one room after the next, and I was purging things and getting rid of a lot of dead weight, it felt like. And the name came to me one day, in my linen closet, I can see myself where I was standing, and I didn't really know what it meant, but I knew that I needed to write it down, something told me. And I put it away, and about 6 months later, work wasn't fulfilling me, and I was drained, and I was like, maybe I'll pursue this thing and bring this to other people. And is it okay to dream that big? Can I have a second career? I need to take the bar exam again. Are we sure that this is what we want to do? And lo and behold, here we are. So I incorporated and started advertising, and one client led to the next, and now I'm with you. And so it's been a great journey.
Oh, that is so awesome. There's so many people that I know can use organization for a lot of different things. Like you said, a lot of us accumulate a lot of stuff over time, and it seems like I have to keep that because it has this sentimental value. But
or so-and-so gave it to me.
Right.
I hear that all the time. I'm like, they're not going to know if you donate it.
And you have a whole closets full of stuff that you don't even, I probably have shoes I haven't worn in 10 years in my closet.
Yep. And then you can't see the stuff that you have, and then you don't use the things that are valuable. And a lot of us have items that we love and that we want to cherish, but we don't display them because our house is cluttered. So that's kind of where the decorating comes in for the name. Is I want to create an organized space, and then I want your products or your things or your mementos to really shine in your space because you can see it and you can use it. And so that maybe those wedding shoes that have sentimental value that are in a box somewhere, let's put them out on a shelf in your closet and display them. Or that purse that you got from your grandmother, let's make it its own little area, and everything is organized around it, and then you can appreciate it even if you're not using it.
I love that. That is such a good idea to do because a lot of things just get buried away that you never even see.
Yeah, and what's the point in keeping them if you can't enjoy them? Whatever it may be, use it or lose it. And then if not, let's find a cool home for it, and let's do some display shelves somewhere or whatever it may be. I've had clients of mine create different spaces with their kids' stuff so that their kids can see the toys and play with them. So there's just so many things that organization truly unlocks.
So when you come in to organize someone's house, what's your process of doing that? What do you do first, and how do you kind of walk them through the stages of how you're going to go in, and I'm sure you're getting into their personal items and all their stuff and everything, so it has to be a little weird.
It is, and I think that what you do is you start with asking a lot of questions. What isn't working in your home? What would you like to see? If you could like envision the space, how would that feel for you? And like every day, what do you use and how do you live your life? Are you someone that's a protein person? So we need to have like a protein bar set up. Are you a huge coffee drinker and you love to like have all the different syrups and the flavors? Let's create like a coffee bar somewhere. Do you like to knit? Let's do that. Actually, where we met Lisa, I did a craft closet. She likes crafts. Now she can get to the things. And so I think it's like really important to get to the heart of what the client wants and then work our way backwards. So a lot of times what happens is I start in one room and then I'm doing your whole house because it kind of trickles over and it can be done in stages. I always recommend starting with a garage because
where do you start?
Because when you do that, it creates space for the stuff inside to go. So I have a line that I work with and I install the custom garage. So I'll go through your house with you. I'll take pictures. I'll take measurements. I'll see what you have. I'll make some notations. And when I'm designing the garage system, what sets me apart from like just a garage like installer of a system is I take into consideration what you actually have and how is it going to go away and like how many shelves do we need? A lot of the garage installers will put just like 2 shelves in when you have all of this vertical space and you could put 6 shelves in. So I take into consideration the height of an item, all of that. And so we create the systems in place and then we start going through and purging your house. And if it's a kitchen, we'll start there. If it's you want your closet done first, we'll start there. But typically I'm like, let's get everything out that you don't want. Let's purge the things you don't want. And then let's create a system. And the products I use are based on like the aesthetic of the home. If you're going to be modern, if you have more of a farmhouse vibe, if your color palette is blacks. Let's pick products that match so when you open up the cabinets, it's like a continuation of your home. So when you're like showing off your house like so many people do, they never open the cabinets. Open your cabinets. Like let everybody see what I've done because it's beautiful. Like I'm going to do custom labels. I'm going to create whatever space that you have, just like make it so that you're not afraid to like let people see those hidden nooks and crannies.
I love it. Yeah, I went in Lisa has been sending me pictures.
Yeah, she's been fun to do. Yep.
And I couldn't even believe, the underwear drawer was like,
oh yeah,
all nice and like wrapped.
I fold your panties.
Rolled
Hope you're okay
panties,
with that.
and they all had a little cubby that they went into. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and then
mine's like all over the place. I open up my drawer and they like pop out of the drawer.
The amount of time though, like let's say you needed like a nude thong for that one white thing and you had to search through. Like I always look at like, yes, you're spending money on my time and my team's time, but the amount of money and time that we save you in the long run. Like I had a client of mine who, no joke, 60 of the same lipsticks because she had them in all of her different bags, all of her different
That would be someone
cranes.
like me.
Yep. And now they're all together and her husband was like, I'm paying a lot of money for plastic. I'm like, but you'll never have to buy another lipstick again. So like you can find the things that you have which saves you money. No more running to the store and being like, do I have another thing of ketchup? Like you already know that your back stock is that. Or like we throw a lot of stuff away because our expiration dates. Like now you'll find it. So it's like the underwear is like that one little area. Like you'll know where your panties are when you need them. But yeah, and like the bras, like you have the molds for the bras so it all stays in shape. It's like taking care of the things that we spend our money on and investments.
Yeah, because if you don't take care of those things, they tend to not last very long.
A designer bag is very expensive. I have clients that the bag is sinking in on itself and creating like creases and it kind of diminishes like the appeal of the bag. Well, that's because it needs to be full. There has to be something inside to hold those things up. And like some of them, they need to be displayed a certain way. So we take in consideration like your luxury items and preserving them so that you can pass them down to your kids, your grandkids, because they really are an investment. So like it's not just about functionality as it is like preserving your items.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I never thought about that either. That's really important to do. You're right about the scrunched up purses.
Yeah. Fill them with we get stuff from Amazon. They have the little air pockets, free tip. save those and stick them inside your designer bags. It's free. They come in your shipping things, and it's a way to recycle and reuse and upcycle it. So keep your like designer bags without the little creases is one cheap way to do it.
I love that. That's a really great tip. I need to start doing that. And then maybe the shoes with the boots with the inserts that go in.
Yeah, I put those in leases.
So they going over.
Yep, I put those in leases. They're on the top of the closet. Yeah. Or they have ones that if you have a lot of extra hanging space, you can get them with a little clip. But you just need to make sure that you put like felt or something so they don't leave like an indent. So just those little tips and knowing, you know, a felt hanger that's white isn't a good choice because your hands leave oils. And so knowing that you need like a white wood hanger, if you're going to have like a very nice designer closet, then you need to, in items, you need to make sure that they're hanging the right way so you don't get like the little indents here and like your sweaters have to be a certain way. So we take that all into consideration when we come into your house.
Yeah, certain kinds of hangers that you use to hang things up.
Yeah, and we source them from all types of price points, so we can source it from Amazon to a container store type of item. Eventually, I hope to have my own product line so that I can implement the things that I see wrong with our products and really make the right thing for clients. And, you know, a slimmer hanger is good for some things, but you need a dress pant hanger for others. And just knowing how to put it away properly. And the great thing is you'll never have to buy it again. Like once you hire me once, that's pretty much the only product you'll need. We'll make some modifications. We work and make sure it's working with the client. And then from there, you shouldn't really need to have to see us again unless you want more or like your life gets out of control and you need a little maintenance. We come back and do that. But the systems really seem to work.
What about jewelry?
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, jewelry is great. So whether you have it displayed, so we can do, you know, they're out on like beautiful acrylic things so that your pieces are shown to putting them away in a drawer. And so if there's something that's like special, we make sure that like if it needs to be in a silver type of a container, sometimes if our clients want, we will get out there and we'll polish all of the jewelry before we put it away. Like we're not necessarily a cleaning service, but for us, like it's displayed beautifully when it's nice and clean and shiny, and that's the extra effort we like to put in for our clients is to really like have it laid out. And there's beautiful trays that you can get, and there's tons of products. Like I did a client's house and their vibe is black and modern, and there's a line that has beautiful black display cases that are clear, and they're just, it's really fun to find products to really up the game because your jewelry can be like a piece of art that you really appreciate if it's displayed properly, just like everything else. Like, let's get our stuff out and let's make it beautiful while we have it. We're spending our money and we can't wear it all every day, so let's like look at it every day.
Yeah, admire it instead of it going into a pile or in some jewelry box that
you don't ever open, and if you do, it's like all dusty inside. Like, let's make sure everything is clean and nice clean lines. And we work with all types of price points, like I said, so there's something for everyone.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things I also noticed that I loved is the organization of how with the baskets and the labeling of all your in the kitchen.
Yeah,
it was really nice at Lisa's house.
Thank you. I think it's important to like her house is very like beachy modern, I feel like, and it's just a beautiful vibe. So it was really important to me to incorporate the outside of her house because it's so magnificent and she's done such a beautiful job. And that's what I really try to do for all of them. So hers has like beautiful wood labels, and then we used Oxo Pop that are stainless steel, which are the more expensive, but the look is so good. And then there's pieces that are from, like I said, like Amazon, and you can't tell. So it's really kind of just like picking and choosing the best products and then matching it. And that's probably one of the most fun things for me is seeing what I can create. Like, and I don't even know it's there, is like, oh wow, like I really did a good job. And like that's really fun. And my team is such an extension of me, and we have such a great working relationship that they can pick up and know my vibe just by like a few key products. And that's really fun. And so we work with a lot of really fun things that you can incorporate that really just step up a house.
So it's a lot of, along with the organization part of it, you kind of have an interior design role that you're playing and also an artistic role.
Yes. Which makes it really fun. Yeah, super fun. I mean, I did a playroom.
I never thought about organizing being that way, but now that I think about it,
it is. It's like, it's my passion. I love it. This is what I do, and I love bringing that to people. And like, I have a client of mine who I did a playroom for, and I bought all new furniture, shelving. I created like an armory wall out of Nerf guns. There's like a music center, and the whole room is completely transformed. And when I started out, I never would have thought that a client would trust me to that ability to just be like, yeah, you can pick out my furniture. Like, she didn't approve anything because she trusted me so far into the process. Like, she only needed 2 days, and she was like, so we're going to add some stuff to your list. And it was creating this whole space for these kids, and it's going to grow with them, and they can see their toys and they can do it. And watching the pride on children's spaces is really amazing. I've got a client I did up in Jacksonville. Shout out Allie. And her kids were so appreciative because they had their own individual space. They knew where their toys were. They had like a routine. They knew where to put things away, and you create independence for your kids. And when you do that, it creates self-confidence that they can take care of themselves and get dressed. And they were young. It's not that they couldn't, but it was like, now they can get to it easy. And like the little boy like told me what labels to make for his like pajamas and what he wanted them to say. And so I try to like make sure everyone gets excited about it, because then you're more apt to keep it up. So it's super fun.
It's a really neat thing to do for your kids also, and it probably teaches them to like organization, because anytime you tell your kids to go clean your room, or hey, it's time, you big huge mess, we have to go organize in here, that's the last thing that they want to do.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming for them. But if you create a process for them, you're teaching them something really, really good at a young age.
Yes.
And it's also going to help you out as a parent, because they're going to want that and be able to help you more than creating more of a mess and a disaster and a continued argument.
Yes. And if kids don't know where things go, how are they supposed to clean up their room? So if they're not of reading age yet, we can create labels that have a photograph on it, so it's easy for them, whether it's like a thing of crayons to indicate art, or trucks for their trucks, and like whatever it is. And my son is 14. I've had his room organized, and I don't do his laundry. I don't put it away. I have no part in that, because he can do it himself. Like, he knows where it goes. He knows his underwear go in one drawer. He knows his socks are in another. And he knows when we need to do laundry again, because he can see that his drawers are emptying. So as a single mom, it was imperative for me to create independence for him so that I could balance. Like, I couldn't do it all myself, and I was. But I have a fully capable child that if I teach him the right way young enough, he can contribute to our household, and he does. And it's everything, like, you know how you ask your kid to do the dishwasher and they don't know where to put, and then you don't know where they put it?
Yes.
No, that never happens in my house, because he can only put the spoon in the slot for the spoon. So it creates all of these hidden benefits that you don't even think about. And I really, truly feel like I'm such a huge value, no matter what you're trying to accomplish in your home, whether it's building a new house and making sure that you have a place for your pots. I mean, I work in luxury homes that truly don't have a place to put upright like baking dishes, because the design aesthetic was beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have a wine fridge, and yes, you have a pull-out refrigerator, and yes, you have all of this fun stuff, but like, where are you going to put your stuff?
They just look nicer on the outside, not necessarily workable from the inside. That's what I found.
And that's why for me it's really important that I get with builders, interior designers, your cabinet makers, and say, hey, listen, like, when you're doing this stuff, it can be aesthetically pleasing, and you guys can have free will, but can you make it functional? Can we talk about what you really have in your kitchen, and like, does the person like to bake? Nobody's asking these questions in these custom homes, and we get in there and they're like, oh, I wish that we would have came across you before, like, where were you before? And I'm like, no, I'm here, but nobody knows about this. It's kind of like a niche, and like doing drawers in division of 3s so that the dividers fit properly. Like, those are little things that I can work with when you're building your house to make sure that you implement function and not just your design aesthetic, because it doesn't cost more at the time, it costs more later. And there's things like where I don't have to buy a bunch of dividers if we did it properly at the beginning. So even though it might be a little bit more upfront, in the long run, it saves everybody time, effort, money, and like a huge headache.
Oh, it sure does. So did you hear that, custom builders in Naples?
Yes, all custom home builders, interior designers, hit me up.
Interior designers and home people that are thinking about buying a custom home. You might, because a lot of custom home builders do not have somebody like you on their team. And doing that in the beginning would be so awesome to have that for you as you move into your home.
Yes.
And the custom builders, if you were to hire somebody like Christine, that will help you out and keep a happy customer also, because they're getting all the things that they need.
Yeah.
So that's great that you offer that.
Yeah, and it's something that nobody really thinks about, because you don't think about what it's going to be like to live in the house other than the aesthetics, and that's the most fun part. But then when you get there, there's all these details that you miss, and that's where we come in. We're thinking about all the things that you haven't thought about because nobody's asking you those questions. So we've got a list, and when a custom home is built, we can go and we can buy all your groceries and put them away. We can buy all of your linens. We can help your interior designers, because they only go to a certain point. Let us come in and make your house completely turnkey so you show up. Like, that is the level in which that our company can do. And then if you need custom closets, we offer custom closets, because I was going into homes and they didn't have a place to put anything, but they had these huge spaces, but there was nothing to put, to put away. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I do that? All right, let me reach out to a distributor. Let me go ahead and do custom closets, so that when I'm designing a closet, I'm taking into consideration how many pairs of shoes. We did a house that was 14,000 square feet.
Wow.
In Marco. It was remarkable. There was not a single shoe shelf, and she must have had 250 pairs of shoes, because nobody stopped to think about the fact that she needed to put her stuff away.
Most of them don't include a shoe shelf.
No shoe shelves. And it was like, where am I going to put all of her shoes? I can't organize them. We're going to have to outsource this somehow. And then there was no linen closets, because they wanted all of this beautiful space, but where are you going to put your towels? There has to be a place, and we can make homes remarkable and miss the mark completely on storage. And I think that the number one complaint of people is there's not enough storage. I don't have enough place. Well, you do have enough storage if it's used properly. Mm-hmm. So I've got a family in Naples who said, I think we're outgrowing this. They have 2 young kids, 2 dogs. We're outgrowing our house. I went there, and now they have open space. It was just how it was utilized. Let's get rid of the things we don't need. And now they don't have to buy a new house. They didn't want to, but they just felt like they were claustrophobic. That's pretty amazing, that if you spend the money on me, that you don't have to go anywhere and incur all of that headache and find the right place.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it saves money in the long run. So, I feel like that's why our business is becoming so successful, is because it truly is word of mouth for us, and it's truly happy customers going thank you. And I'm friends with people that I'm still clients with, and that didn't happen in legal. I wanted to get rid of you, except for a select few. And now it's this long-term relationship, because you make everybody happy, and there's nothing better for me personally than leaving someone better than the way that I found them. And that's what I think that our business and our brand truly represents.
Oh, I can see lots of happy people. I know I would be, for sure. At CEA Marketing, we take your business, your passion, and your why, and we sell it. If you're unsure where to start marketing your company, CEA Marketing is here to help. Our team at CEA has tons of experience and top-notch training, which helps you take all the stress and confusion out of marketing your own business. After years of working with large companies like Pulte Homes, the Outback Bowl, and Metro Places, we guarantee the successful implementation of a marketing strategy. So one of the other things is, as you're the custom home and helping them add in the different items that they're going to need to organize the house better. And if I'm looking to move out of my house, I'm getting ready to buy a house soon, and one of the things I'm most terrified of is
moving.
Moving.
Yes.
Like, I could just stay here for a few more,
Yep.
just because I don't want to move.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people probably feel the same way. Like, that's just a lot. And then when I get to the new house, I have to unpack, and
It's
it's
overwhelming.
really overwhelming, especially for busy people that don't have the time for that.
And that's why we also offer complete turnkey. So if you contact us at the very beginning, you're looking to figure out if you're moving, you may not have a realtor. We work with an amazing realtor in town, and so she can help you. And then we go ahead and get everything ready. So we'll start purging your house. We'll start packing things that are unnecessary up. We'll have you tag items that you definitely want to take with you. And then we'll get the house ready for your photographs. So the first step is really to truly get it ready for your realtor to take the best pictures.
Okay, that's another part too.
And
staging.
We're staging it. So we're going to clear it all out. And while we're doing that, we are preparing for your move. You're going to have to throw this stuff out anyway. You're going to have to get the things off the wall that are your personal items. So let's work to the end goal. And then we're working with cleaning people. We have people that'll come in and pressure wash. We have the carpet cleaners. We have everything so that you can just literally, like I tell my clients, all you need to do is sit. If you sit, I will take care of everything, because we've done this so many times that we know what you need. We can get it done. We're going to work with a mover, whether it's local or whether or not it's out of state, and we'll get the things packed. We'll make sure that the items that need to be insured are packed by the movers properly. That way, if anything happens, hopefully not, that won't be on us, it'll be on them. And we make sure that your items are there, and then we're going to organize them to your new house. So if you have like a guest room and you want things to go in there, they're going to go in there, and we're going to put things together. So when you're unpacking, and hopefully you have us unpack you, it's going to be a seamless move. So if you're looking for something, because we're hands-on, we'll tell you what boxes it in, or what have you, if you're looking for it. If you need an overnight bag for a week, we'll say, okay, remember, like, let's get your stuff out that you need for the week. And that way we can pack everything else up. So just a lot of odds and ends, and we'll get you unpacked. We'll buy all of your stuff for your kitchen. We're on our third house that we've completely outfitted and turnkeyed, to the point where, like, we're creating like welcome baskets for their guests for arrival, and we're creating amenities baskets and doing all of this really cool stuff that almost makes it like a hotel experience. That's what we really bring to our luxury clients.
That's wonderful. And that's a great service for the realtors also, because that's their main goal, is they want to sell that house.
Yes.
And if they have a client that's really overwhelmed, to try to go through that process of doing that, you're kind of helping speed up the process and
For sure.
making it easier for everybody to make sure that sale happens.
Yeah, and the elderly clients that we work with who don't have the physical ability, right? Let alone the mental stamina.
Another one.
And their kids are out of state because we're, local to a seasonal place. It's like, well, we're able to take all that stress and know, like, the only thing we need is a check. Like, that's all you have to do, and we'll get you to wherever you're going. We've moved people out of state. We've moved them locally from house to house. And so you really, truly don't need to do anything. And I think that's unlike any professional organization company, where we want to make sure that our clients are completely turnkey, and we'll take care of everything. And we have no problem doing it. And we do it with joy, because it brings everybody joy. So it gives back to us in so many different ways.
That's really great. And that, I like the elderly side of it, and the whole package that you offer there. 'Cause I know, like, with my mom too, like, she would need somebody to come in and help her, if she needed to move. That's just so much for her to have to do. And my sister and I have a hard time finding time just for anything. So.
Yeah, and it's hard, and you're emotionally attached too, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have an emotional attachment to that chair or that piece of, glassware or whatever. So I can say, do you really need it? And then we work in stages. So if a client does get overwhelmed, we'll do a lot of it, and then we'll leave piles and leave notes, and you can do it in small bites, and you don't need to be overwhelmed. And a lot of times, if I move my clients to different areas in the home and I have piles, before we know it, in a day we're done, and they didn't feel it because I did all of the legwork. And so it makes it so much more enjoyable. and a much easier process, because a move is never enjoyable. But provided that like we do whatever we can to make it as seamless as possible, and we work with the right people and, you know, get everything done, and between the realtor and us, you should be able to just like show up.
That's nice.
Yes.
That's what we want. I want to be able to do.
Yes.
Well, so we've learned a lot about your business.
Yes.
And that sounds so awesome for so many people that contract you for your services, and such a great gift I'm sure they feel that you are for them. That's wonderful.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about when you got started in your business and your journey, and some of the things that you've gone through and what you've learned from those things.
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is having a team around you. People that can answer the questions that you don't know how to answer, whether that's hiring the right lawyers, whether that's hiring the right CPA, the marketing people, making sure that you have your foundation first. So if you don't know what to do, you have somebody to ask, so that you try to,
Smart.
you don't know what you don't know. My lawyer advises me not to do anything without him, because it's easier for him to fix it if he knows what he did. So a team in place is really important, is my biggest lesson. But as far as like growing business, the Instagram is hard. Social media and marketing, that has been a huge challenge for me to get my name out there, because you don't know what you don't know, and I don't know how to do it. And here we are. And that's where you come in for me. And that's been a challenge. But client relations have been interesting, you know, like taking something from each project and learning what I could do better, how to handle things better, and being self-aware enough to be okay with the learning process. I think that before I was always afraid to fail, and I didn't realize it's why I didn't do a lot of things in life up until the last 3 years. And now this has given me the confidence to just go for it, like just to be comfortable in my own skin at almost 40, and to just take leaps of faith. I think my business has helped me personally. And I think that with every challenge, there's just such a good lesson to be learned. And a lot of this is just like leaning in and believing in yourself, and being okay with failure, and being okay with the obstacles, and knowing that it's not smooth sailing. Like everybody tells us that life is supposed to be like this, like roses and butterflies and all that bullshit. Excuse my French. It's not true.
It's not true.
Like this stuff is
it's
so
hard.
It's hard, and it's really hard, and it's okay that it's hard, because everyone is having that journey, and you just need to talk about it more and know that like we're all going through it, and to give grace to yourself first and then other people. Like life isn't easy, and it's not all fun, and this looks great, but there was a lot of work to get in this seat. There was a lot of work for you to get where you are, and it makes life so much sweeter when you have to work for it.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And I love what you said about the failure part of business. And I think that you're correct. And that's honestly the biggest fear. Fear and failure are the two things. You know, you can't be fearful if you want to be an entrepreneur. No. But you have to be very comfortable with failure. Because if you don't fail, you're never going to grow, or you're never going to learn.
Yep.
And that's part of the whole process. And if you can't handle failure, then this is not for you to go into it.
Yeah.
Because I owned my business for over 25 years, and I still have, oh my God, that's never happened before. Like those types of situations happening. Like, and it's, we're in changing times and different things happening, and, new generations coming into play that we have to deal with. And it's just constant. It never stops.
No.
You never stop learning. You never stop failing. And by learning from those failures, it's gonna get you to that next place.
I failed the bar exam, and I was so ashamed. And then I was ashamed when I first started my business, because I thought people would think that I'm doing this because I didn't succeed, but what that taught me was that I didn't really want it. I had never really failed at anything before, but I also really hadn't put myself out there, so let's be real. But I did learn that, like, it was because I wasn't passionate about it. I didn't have that zest for it anymore. I had worked from a receptionist at 18 years old to all the way to the bar exam, and I was going to be a lawyer, and I was like, oh no, is this going to be my life at 12 o'clock at night dealing with other people's problems because they can't get their shit together? Like, this is awful. And yeah, it was expensive to get that piece of paper, but it also brings credence to who I am. It like does help in this situation, but I learned from that failure that it was okay. And now I don't live in that shame moment of that failure. I live in like, that failure gave me this, and thank God, because without that, without my 20 years of experience and learning how to organize documents and learning what things I can get rid of and what things people need, and that is a whole nother, like, my brain has so much more knowledge than a common professional organizer would, because I know the liability on things. Like, I think it all the way through, like, that's who I am. So it has brought like a much better perspective to my business and to my clients, because that failure is okay now. Like, I'm good with it.
Yeah, everything that you learn from being in the law business, because you're right, you have to be super organized.
You do, yeah.
There. And yeah, the whole part of, not failing the bar exam. But if you didn't do that, it wouldn't lead you down the road where you are now. Yeah. And I look at all that too, like certain things that happened to me in my life. And, as I sit here with a broken foot, I remember in college when I was, hoping to go back to the New York Rangers where I had my job beforehand. I just had to go back and finish like off the summer before I could go back to my career again, that I wanted to continue working in NHL hockey. Then I shattered my wrist. And my whole world changed after that, because it was like I had to go back to, my school took longer because I was in the hospital for a long time, and the job wasn't there anymore, of course, 6 months later. But had I gone down that road, my life would have looked completely different than it does today. And would I be a business owner, working on my own, doing all the things that I love to do? Probably not. I would have been in a much different place.
Yeah, we would have been working for somebody else and for that next thing. And for now, I feel like I'm working for myself and for the people that I service, and I love it. Like, there's nothing that gets me out of bed more. And I love dictating my own schedule and being able to be flexible as a mom. And that's something that's important to me as a business owner. I feel like the one thing that I tell the people that work with me is that, like, they are a mom, they're a wife, they're a woman first. And so that comes with certain responsibilities, and you can take care of those, and we can be just as successful, in business. And so I think that that's a cool women dynamic, that more women need to like support other women and bring, that just family dynamic into it. We all have doctor's appointments, we all have sick kids, and we all have life. And I think that that's like a huge foundational piece for my business, is to make sure that the people that I employ or who I work with and my colleagues all feel supported.
I love that. You're absolutely right. I love seeing so many women today going in business for themselves. I've been doing this, as I said, for a long time. And when I first started my business, I really didn't know too many other women who own businesses. Plus, I was young and a woman, working in a man's world with car dealers and home builders and things like that. So that was a whole nother thing too. And now it's so great I'm going to all these women networking groups. We host a lot of them here at the studio. I'm like, I've never seen so many of them before.
So good.
It's so awesome to see so many women come out and have their own independence and really taking their life and being like, I'm going to do what I love.
Yeah.
And being successful and working their asses off.
Oh, it's so good. Cool. It's so good. And not to bring it back to Lisa again, but growing up, Lisa was the first woman that I knew that owned her own business when she owned the surf shop, and then doing all the things that she did. And I can put myself as that teenager looking at her going, oh, wow, she's doing her own thing. Like, she has her own legs to stand on. She's not her husband's wife. She is an independent woman, and she is a family woman, and she is a mother, and she is a wife, and she is those things. But she has this thing that's hers.
Yes.
And I think that that's really important, no matter what, that we have something that is ours. Whether it's a business, whether it's a workout class, whether it's 5 minutes in your car singing to music, like, take something for yourself and figure out who you are, because we only have one life to live. And like, we need to make sure that it's full and that we're living fully and that our life is like meaningful. And I think that my business has really helped me to solidify that purpose. And I hope to work with many more women and help them along the way. That's like my journey is like, all right, let's gather around. And we used to do it together back in caveman days. We took care of our kids together. We lived together. There'd be women living with their kids and their husbands would be off.
True.
And like, that is the dynamic of what it was. But like, let's get back to it a little bit more in the camaraderie and the bonds and the building each other up instead of tearing each other down.
That's definitely the way to go. And I see a lot of women in business that are definitely doing that, which is good to see the collaborations and everything. I think you have so much to offer.
Thank you.
And so much great advice that you've given women that want to start their own business and
do it.
Giving them that dream that they've always wanted and all the reasons why they should be doing it.
Yeah, it's not too late. Like, I remember thinking my parents were starting businesses and they were like so old. They were younger than me. And like, they didn't become successful until they were in their 40s. Some people don't until their 50s. And you know what? It's okay to have multiple careers. I didn't think that was possible.
Doesn't matter what age.
It doesn't matter. Like, if you're not happy, find something that makes you happy. That's all that really truly matters. And be kind. And when you're happy, you're kinder. I'm not nearly as bitchy. I was like trying to find another way to say that as I used to be, because I'm truly happy. So it radiates out. And I think that that's what we need to find our joy.
Yes, we absolutely do.
So,
yay. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Kelly. This is great.
Thank you. It was so much fun. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next week on Learning Curves.
Second Soul Studios is a full-service production studio with capabilities for photo, video, podcasting, editing, co-working, and more. Our photo video studio has a number of different backdrop choices and props to choose from. We also have a gourmet kitchen set, or if you're an upstart podcaster, you'll love our 4-person podcast studio. So what are you waiting for? Visit secondsoulstudios.com to book a tour today.